What is up, everybody? I hope you guys are having an okay Saturday. I did want to do a little bit of an oddball video today for you all. I know it's Saturday. Generally, I don't do videos over the weekend, but given the market sentiment and what's going on with prices right now, it's a lot easier to just step back and not try to produce content, but I'm going to try to produce some content that I think might be valuable for you, and it's just mainly putting things into scope. Now, I kind of want to go over Bitcoin price action from like the macro standpoint, but not only Bitcoin, kind of looking at like the total crypto market cap, but more interestingly for me than Bitcoin and Ethereum price action or what their market caps may be right now is looking at aspects of what the total market cap of crypto is without Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think many of you have been here for quite some time. Some of you have been here maybe just since last year, etc. Watching these videos, trying to research for yourselves on Twitter and watching multiple different content providers, all these different things. My opinion is that, over time, and especially given regulatory clarity and a real world adoption, a real world usage, CBDCs play a role in this, I think, between 2024 and 2026 to start, that digital assets and these ledgers are really going to start to swallow a lot of market value, take market share away, and incorporate, a lot of the world's money, in my opinion. So if you've never seen this, now this is old. I'm sure there's a newer one, but there's some really interesting visuals within this. Here's all the money in the world in one chart. Again, take this with a little bit of a grain of salt because this is 2017. There's obviously more money in the world now. The world's silver, 17 billion. Crypto, as of this, it was 500, or wait, no, this is way lower. This was like less than $200 billion whenever this was made. Now we know that crypto right now is at like 1.1 or 1.2 trillion. Just goes to show how much growth we've had over the past handful of years. Biggest companies, obviously Tesla fits into this grouping now, 50 richest people, California's GDP, Fed's balance sheet, currency, gold, stock markets, global money supply. Then you get into global debt. Then you get into global real estate. And you get into derivatives. And we know derivatives, arguably above that quadrillion dollars right now, or 2017, it's saying 544 trillion. To put this into scope for you guys, like this is all the money in the world. And this is in 2017. And here's Bitcoin. Still extremely, extremely small. Right here, we can see from global banking rates. This was more recent. I think this was a couple of days ago. Quadrillions. Looks like this is, quadrillion dollars. This amount even surpasses the total market capitalization of the U.S. stock market, which is 48,264,353 million as of March 31st, 2022. Market cap of crypto right now is like 1.1 trillion. So we're dealing with quadrillions of dollars, in my opinion, in the long term. We can look at the market right now. The total market cap of crypto is 1.15 trillion. We know that Bitcoin is crashing. Everything else is kind of crashing across the board here. So I do think that we are closer. We're closer rather than being further to a bottom. I did a video maybe a week or two ago about the halvening within Bitcoin. Generally, the time frames prior to the next halvening where we do see the bottom. I think it's like 17 or 18 months. Now, arguably, the halvening of Bitcoin is going to be like between March and June of 2024. So really that puts us between August and December of this year, depending on when that halvening occurs. And that's all fine and well, but I did want to go over a couple of things. I did in a video a couple of days ago, I showed this Bitcoin logarithmic regression rainbow, and I talked about not wanting to close a full weekly body candle below this trend line here. We'll see what happens with the close of this weekly candle, but then we can see as far as downside is concerned, just extrapolating it out a little bit. Let me hide that. You can look historically here, and this is the Bitstamp chart right now, so it's not going to give you the BLX for the liquid index all the way back to 2012 or 2009, however you want to put it. But you can see here the 50 EMA, which is blue, the 21 EMA, which is yellow, obviously. Historically, during these bearish cycles, we do kind of touch base on this 50 EMA, actually dropping below the 50 EMA in late 2018, early 2019, wicking below that 50 EMA on the month. This is on the monthly chart. in March of 2020, but then recovering pretty much straight away. And some interesting things to pay attention to. Now, I also have the logarithmic growth curves popped up. Historically, we've stayed in these logarithmic growth curves forever, with exception of March of 2020, and we are below right now with a monthly candle. I'm curious to see what happens if we touch base on support again on the 50 EMA on the monthly, which is right around $26,000 per Bitcoin, or if we drop below, which will be bad news to confirm a candle body below, because obviously we've seen that happen one time prior, and it took us with this first candle, 1 to 3 months to get back above it. 3 months is not a long amount of time, though, people. I do think that we're pretty close to some sort of a bottom, in my opinion. Now, I'm just going based on Bitcoin, though. I'm not going on geopolitical and, kind of the macro aspects going on with the Fed, and if the Fed chooses to tighten instead of ease, which, hasn't happened in pretty much Bitcoin's history, right? I'm curious what will happen given those aspects, but my opinion still stands. I do think that we're close. Do I believe a bottom is in yet? I don't. I could be wrong, certainly. Maybe we see this turn around fairly quickly. This is the brave new, or the liquid index for Bitcoin. So this will take you back to 2015. Here you can see that we touched base on the 50 EMA on the monthly. 1, 2, 3. Let's say 1, 2, 3 times. But for us to get back above the 21, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months. We're in month 2 right now. The other time that this occurred, dropping below the 21 EMA, it took us, and I'll go with the next month, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months to get above. So shortening a little bit. The last time that it occurred, March of 2020, it only took 2 months to get above, right? I think we're in a little bit of a different animal than we were in March of 2020, because it was kind of that mass capitulation event. But really what I wanted to get into, too, isn't necessarily the market cap of Bitcoin. The total market cap of crypto right now, I think, is just a joke. Now, this is including Bitcoin and Ethereum. We're sitting at like $1.13 trillion. So not just looking at Bitcoin's chart, but looking historically at the entire market, we can see that we very much so touched on the 50 EMA during the previous 2 cycle lows, April or March of 2020, and then October, November, December 2018. And we're kind of right there right now. So I do think we're very close to bottoming. We've seen wicks below on the monthly here in the previous 2 cycles as well, which we have not seen yet. But this is really interesting to me, and I pulled this up today. So this is the total crypto market cap without Bitcoin and Ethereum. And without Bitcoin and Ethereum, I showed you this, and this was even old. There's essentially a quadrillions of dollars up for grabs. Now, certain aspects of this start getting tackled first. I do believe that the stock market gets disrupted and starts interoperating with digital assets. I believe that all markets pretty much get disrupted and start interoperating with digital assets, but it's going to be a timed thing. It's not going to all happen at once. I think payments and settlements get affected first. So I showed you that, essentially quadrillions of dollars, right? Even worst case scenario, let's say that, in a matter of decades, crypto gets to let's say $50 trillion market cap, right? Right now, all of the cryptos, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, have a total market cap of $396 billion. Both Bitcoin and Ethereum right now are obviously still proof of work. To put it into easier to understand visuals for you all, if we were to get to a $50 trillion market cap for crypto, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, this is what price action would look like today. You can't even see it, right? Now, this is on the non-logarithmic chart, but I like using the log charts. They're just easier. But yeah, it's massive. I do think that we're here at the right time. I think we're in the right place. I think right now this isn't a financial advice, but this certainly even right now is a buyer's market, not a seller's market. It just, the verdict is still out. Are we going to see additional buying opportunities that might be a little bit better than where we're at right now? My guess would be yes, but I'm not going to sit there and definitively say either way. There's a shit ton of resistance for us to, start breaking back above now levels of resistance that were previous support to even start thinking about all-time highs for most of these digital assets. So it'll be very interesting to watch. Now, this is the crypto total market cap, just excluding Bitcoin. So Ethereum is in here. We're riding pretty much on the 50 EMA right here. In previous cycles, obviously, we dip below in each cycle, but, and I think that we're going to have to confirm this as support. It'd be very scary to see a full candle body on the monthly start closing below the 50 EMA, given whatever chart you're looking at. So on the monthly. So yeah, I mean, we're making strides, people. I think that we're closer to some sort of a bottom than most people are thinking. I do think that we might still have that one capitulation event. Looking at the 200-week moving average heat map right now. Now, the 200-week is being looked at by a lot of people. I have to give a shout out to Crypto Crew University. I've pretty much been looking at this 210. If you pull up the 210, you can see that the 210, we had wicks below it, but, candle bodies closing pretty much as support on the 210. The 210 right now is sitting about $21,578. This number will keep rising on a week-to-week basis, obviously slightly. But it'll be really interesting to watch how it plays out. Again, I'm not advocating for me being some sort of a TA guru, but I think, like I said, if I can provide things that I'm finding interesting in this space, what I'm looking at from just higher level time frames, and share them with you all, especially when markets are crashing and it's very easy just to step away and just ignore it. I'm certainly going to share as much as I can with you all. I've talked about looking at Bitcoin.com before, the 200-week moving average heat map, the fear and greed index, obviously, the golden ratio multiplier, pulling up this and looking at time frames for me when we entered below the bottom trend line, when we broke back above the bottom trend line, are interesting little exercises that I try to do occasionally. And yeah, I hope this provided a little bit of value for you guys. I mean, I do think that we're close to a bottom. I think that, like I said before, I think that it occurs this year. The one thing that I measured a while back was looking at the 21 EMA and the 50 EMA on the weekly, and when we see a 21 EMA cross below the 50 EMA on the weekly, we are in a bear market historically, and usually, it takes about 90 days to bottom with about a 50% correction. We are not at 90 days yet, I don't believe, because we crossed in April. So I've been talking about that mid-July to early August timeframe as something I've been watching. Timeframes aren't really the most valid or dependable thing. So I'm kind of watching for these targets as well. Like if we get down to the 210 SMA on the weekly, I will be 100% a buyer for multiple different things right now. And I've actually, I was looking at the market today and saw quant under $60, which for me was kind of the benchmark of like, okay, maybe I start making some entries into quant and some other assets as well. Shit, I mean, even Polkadot's at $8.25, and I think I bought at 200 before they did the token redenomination. So really, it's like about $2 is what I bought at, but we're not that far away, right? I don't think that that's not to say we don't have like a 50% correction in Bitcoin, and that's not possible. Hell, it could happen. A lot of people are looking at that 14K range, and that basically is 50% down from where we're at right now. Do I think that we get that low? To me, really, I don't really care. 14K Bitcoin versus 20K Bitcoin, once we get down to those levels, I really don't give a shit. I'm going to be buying assets across the board at those levels. I'm starting to think about, maybe doing some of these things right now because I think that we've been a little bit too quiet recently. And I think that we might see somewhat of a larger move within the next handful of weeks or so. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, not financial advice. These videos when we're in a bear market are not the easiest to do, but just showing you guys some of the things that I'm looking at, trying to provide a little bit of scope as far as how much I think that the digital asset ecosystems start disrupting across the board of traditional finance, especially when regulatory clarity hits. I think that we're not going to be surprised, hopefully, but many people are going to be surprised as far as how much utilization is going on with crypto and digital assets. And it's just a drop in the pan right now. A $2.6 trillion market cap for crypto at the peak, assuming that this was the peak, which it was, of the bull market. $2.6 trillion is a drop in the pan. And it's just having the due diligence, having the fortitude to know that the research that you've done is real research, knowing that the assets really are going to reach out and start affecting things from a real world perspective, and having the guts to hold through the bullshit. So hope you guys enjoyed this. I will talk to you when I talk to you. Bye.